Hi, I am back after a brief hiatus. I'll acknowledge that I have not posted in a couple of weeks. I was on vacation and then I had some stuff happen when we got home and I got a new phone. And so, anyhow, I am back. And the good news about me being gone on vacation is that I learned a little something that I wanted to share. So, we went to Colonial Williamsburg, and one of the things that we saw was a presentation by a Shawnee Indian who was talking about the Shawnee religion. And I was really struck by the similarities between the Shawnee religion and Christianity. So the Shawnee deity is their creator. It has three parts. The humans were made in its likeness, and they. It, I could go on, but there are a lot of similarities, and I listed many of them in the blog post, so you should take a look. But I was talking to my husband about it afterward, and I said, "Isn't that really interesting that these religions across the globe from one another were developed um, maybe independently?" And he said, "Well, not really, because we're all descendants of Adam and Noah, right? So if we all knew the truth at some point, then it just only stands to reason that there would be many religions who would share that same concept of a single deity, and but maybe a triune deity, and so anyway, I was talking about it to a friend when I got home, and oddly, she and her family had gone to Colonial Williamsburg at the same time, and we just didn't run into each other. Small world. We traveled several states to get there. So anyhow, she said, "Well, I wonder how much influence Europeans had on the development of that religion." And so I did try to do some research to see if the religion preceded European settlement or not. I only saw one article that made any reference to the idea that it could have derived some of its content from Christianity. So I posted a link to that article, but actually all the rest of the articles said that the Shawnees were really committed to their religion and held on to it despite European influence. So anyway, it's super interesting, and I'll kind of leave that up to you to figure out for yourself whether it seems like there were two religions across the world from one another that worship a very similar creator and have really similar storylines to what ours is. And then also, because the story that I'm focusing on this week is the story of Jesus' baptism by John, I wanted to at least spend a few seconds talking about the baptism that Jesus offered as opposed to the baptism of John. So, when we look at water baptism today, we actually see that it is, Jesus commands us at the end of Matthew to baptize in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. So really seems like all of those come together simultaneously, the baptism of water and the baptism of the Holy Spirit. But we do see in the Bible in a couple of cases where baptism in the Holy Spirit takes place outside of the context of water baptism. So I kind of wanted to understand a little bit more. Obviously, I focused on the idea of baptism previously, and does somebody else have to dunk you in the water and then pull you back out? So therefore, if that's the definition of baptism, then what is baptism in the Holy Spirit? So there was some origin in the Greek word baptine, which means to dip, steep, dye, or color. So it really is more where water baptism might be a cleansing. Baptism by the Holy Spirit is almost a metamorphosis of a person into something else, like a tea or a dye. So you go from a water or a vinegar substance, and then you completely transform it into something else. So I'll just leave you with that and take a look at the rest of the post for some more information.